Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Kayak Bass Live on a Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 10 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to the fellows who are tuning in from back east in West Virginia and all the surrounding states. It's going to be a good evening tonight. We have the winner of Mountain State Kayak Anglers Championship, Dewey Robinson, and we'll have him on here in a minute. But just want to go through some introductions and formalities and the news, so to speak, before we bring him on for an interview and go through all the rigmarole of what we normally do around here. All right, so I want to let everybody know we do upload and archive the show on YouTube. I need to actually get back on there and do that, but my plan is tonight after we're finished, I'll download tonight's episode and get us up to date. So if you got a minute, go over to Instagram, give us a follow, give us a like. Doesn't take but a minute. I know you guys are on there. Come on now. Use the hashtag Kayak Bass Live for the chance to be featured on an episode. What else we got? Normally I talk about get signed up for events, but we don't actually have a whole heck of a lot of events other than pretty much everybody's wrapping it up for the year. So some events that are actually upcoming. So we've got the KBF event this weekend at Chickamauga. Looks like their headquarters is Blue Water Resort. So if you're in that area, head on over there and get signed up for that event. We also have Carolina Kayak Anglers. They got their Tournament of Champions on Lake Norman this weekend. We've also got the Cumberland Kayak Trail, their fourth stop on Old Hickory in Tennessee, as well as the Western Kentucky Kayak Angler Classic out on Lake Bashir. I hope I said that right, Lake Bashir. And KFI, Kayak Fishing Idaho, they've got their Swan Fall Championship. Looks like Jeremy Miller just signed in here. Say what's up, man. And what else? Oh, one near and dear to the heart. We got the Yakabass NorCal doing their last event in the season on Sunday out at Sugar Bars on the California Delta. So that's going to be a great time. And all my Yakabassers, what's up? It's going to be a great weekend. And next week there's only 3 events. 3 events, not a whole heck of a lot going on next week. At least according to Tourney X and some of the other tournament trails that I've actually looked up. So next week, KBF Trail on Lake of Egypt. Not sure where that is. I forgot to write that down. But Lake of Egypt next week. Massachusetts Kayak Bassin, their last event on Lake Maspenock. 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 Apologize if I butcher names, but I'm human and I'm not from those parts. So doing the best with what I've got. What else we got here? East Texas Kayak Fishing on Lake Welsh. It's probably going to be good showing those Texas boys. There's a lot of kayak bassers in Texas. And the East Texas Kayak Fishing Trail, from what I understand, is actually getting quite a bit of momentum over there. Looks like we've already got some... we've already got ourselves a little bit of a cheering section, I guess. Brad McClung says, Dewey's the man. Congrats on an amazing weekend. Tuning in from SoCal, hope the fishing is good up north. Well, I sure as heck hope so too. It's getting better. Hopefully, it's getting better down south as well as we fish are moving out of the fall transition and into, or from the summer to fall transition into actually fall kind of patterns. Near the future, coming up soon, we've got the KBS Big year-end wrap up, the end on the bend. Which is the KBF, which is a KBF Open. It's obviously going down on Toledo Bend, November 3rd and 4th. The tournament headquarters there is Cypress Bend Park out of Minnie, Louisiana. I hope I said that right. First place for that event is $10,000 guaranteed, and they're paying 10% of the field. So if you got nothing to do on the third and the 4th, head on down to Toledo Bend and get signed up for the KBF Open down there. Also on Toledo Bend the same day is the 2017 KBF 100 Challenge. The 100 Challenge Championship. The event is based on the scores for all of KBF's online events. The tournament also pays under $10,000. So if you enter both, I believe it's the same day. So if you enter both, you have the potential of winning $20,000 if you win both of them, which is pretty cool. It's also on one of the America's most well-known bass fisheries, Toledo Bend. Straight from Joe Hobbenrich. I hope he said that right. It says, we're expecting about 20 sponsors to be present, retailers, food vendors, etc. Should be quite an event that's pulling anglers from Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Florida, and the Carolinas, the West Coast, and the northern Midwest states as well. It's going to be quite the show over there. I want to give a shout out to Matthew Brannon, who'll be fishing in the Top 100 event. I imagine he's fishing the Open as well because he's one of those guys that likes to double down. And then we also want to give a shout out to Mike Stames and Kenny Jablicki. Hope I said that right. He's from SoCal, heading to the Open out there on Toledo Bend. So we got some results here. The KBF Trail on Santee Cooper was this past weekend. They had 31 anglers. 103 fish were submitted to Tourney X, and third place on the KBF Trail on Santee Cooper was Tony Yang with 81.5 inches. Congrats, man. Barry Davis, 81 3/4 inches, so he beat Tony by a 1/4 inch. And then we had Jason Broach, who had, that's a 4 1/4 inch margin between him and second place. Jason Broach, 86 inches for the W. Congratulations, Jason. Arkansas Kayak Fishing State Championship 2017 was a 2-day event. They had 67 anglers show up there for the championship. 540 fish caught or submitted to Tourney X on those 2 days. And in third place was Corey Likens, 84.5. Tony Hobbs, 89.5 inches. And then Adam Shepard with 92 inches for the W. Congratulations to all those fellas out there. And to wrap up our introduction, we want to give a shout out or tell you who tonight's show is brought to you by. It's brought to you by Fisherman's Warehouse, my employer. And they've been serving the fishing community for the past 35 years. And be sure to share tonight's live stream for a chance to win a Fisherman's Warehouse gift card, which is actually good at any of our 3 retailers. We have Manteca, my home store, Sacramento, and San Jose, as well as Fisherman'sWarehouse.com. So go ahead and share it there, and with the possibility to win. We draw that next week and give it away. So if you want to know if you won, you need to tune in next week, and we will draw then. Without further ado, let's go ahead and do a little blurb from Fisherman's Warehouse and get on over to our man of the hour, Mr. Dewey Robinson, and stay tuned.
I'm getting lazy in my old age. Hey, Kent Brown, host of the Ultimate Bass Radio Show. You know, one of the cool things about stores like Fisherman's Warehouse, they are your fish and tackle store. You know, you stop here, you can talk to the guys who know everything about what's going on. They can help get you lined out on tackle, rods, reels, techniques, and where the hot bite is. The other thing is, a lot of you are missing out on is you're wasting a lot of time winding line, or you're maybe not replacing line like you should. Bring your reels down, spinning or bait casting, and the guys here at Fisherman's Warehouse will be able to wind it right here on these old style line winding machines. Gets it on good and tight. You pay for however many yards you put on your reels, and you're ready to go. So, guys, check it out. Next time you're down in your local tackle stores, you're getting ready, tight on time for the weekend, headed out for a local tournament, and swing down here on Thursday night, open till 8 o'clock, throw your reels in a bag. While you're shopping, they'll wind all your line for you. So it's a good way to cut a little time off of your tournament preparation. I'm getting lazy in my old age. Hey, Kent Brown.
I don't know what happened. I clicked on it, but I didn't click on it. So, welcome, Dewey Robinson. Congratulations on your big W this past weekend, and looks like we got quite the crowd here waiting to hear what you have to say. We were at 29 live viewers according to my iPad in front of me. So congratulations, man. Let me go and give the rundown of how that went down, or the top 5 anyway. So the MSKA Mountain State Kayak Anglers Championship was a 2-day event on Tigert Lake and Tigert River. Anglers fished the lake one day and the river the other. There were a total of 87 anglers for the event. There were 530 fish caught or submitted Tourney X. I'm not sure. I'm gonna ask Dwayne on how that works. But in 5th place, it was Brian McClung with 91 inches. 4th place went to Rick Goff with 92 1/4. Jared Lehman had 92 3/4 inches. Josh Berthesel, hope I said that right. Did I say that? Berthesel? Right? Yeah? Okay, cool. Yep. Berthesel, 94.5 inches. And then we had Mr. Man himself on top, Dewey Robinson Jr. with 97 1/4 inches, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little awkward talking to a camera, so granted you can see me, but when I'm doing my whole spiel at the beginning, it is kind of awkward. And haven't done it for quite some time, so I apologize if it's a little shaky or rough to watch. But
no, not bad at all.
Right on. So let's go and get to it. I've got a set of questions I pretty much ask everybody. I've got a couple more questions that I've now added to it. Thank you, Michael Lavoie. So, man, what do you do for a living? What is your JOB, your 9 to 5?
I actually work 12 hours a day. I'm a coal miner. I work on a strip job.
Wow. So, man, I am keeping you up. I didn't realize you could work 12 hours, bro.
Oh, you're good.
Right on. We rest when we're dead, right? Rest when we're dead.
That's exactly right.
Right on. That's some rough work, man. But it's honest. It's honest living.
Absolutely.
Right on. So how did you actually get started in fishing? Not kayak fishing, just fishing in general.
I'm going to say that I've probably been fishing, as long as I could remember. Probably my papa got me into it, and pretty much started out probably like any other little kid did, fishing off the bank for bluegill. Went probably from bluegill fishing to carp to catfish to the catfish ponds. Then I'm going to say I was in my early teens. My uncle started taking me to bass tournaments to start out, and that's really got me into the bass fishing.
Right on. Shout out to Papa and Papa. Shout out to Papa and your uncle, man. They obviously did something right. I could tell. We have kids come in the shop all the time, and we tell their parents, get them started young, because if you teach them how to fish, they ain't got the money to do drugs when they're older.
Ain't that the truth?
I couldn't do drugs if I wanted to, man. I can't afford it, even now as an adult. So, when and how did you actually get into kayak fishing? Let's transition to that, man.
I've always had a bass boat since I've been about, I don't know, maybe 20, somewhere around there. I always went on tournaments and this and that, and I've actually got a friend, Bud Vance, that fished with us this weekend, and he would go to Erie with us on his kayak, and we would take the boat, we would fish side by side, and he would catch just as many off a kayak as we would off a boat fishing the same water. And he begged us for the past, I guess, 3 or 4 years to get into it. About mid-year last year, around July, me and my wife actually went and purchased kayaks, and kind of history from there. We ended up selling the boat, getting rid of it back in the spring, and so we're die-hard kayak now.
That's what I like to hear, man. More and more people, I'm realizing, are giving up the glitter rocket world and coming over to the plastic boat world. It's a great decision. That's what I did, and I know a couple other guys have done it themselves too. Can we ask next? Oh, I got a list. I'm faking like I don't have a list here. So, what clubs and circuits are you fishing? Are you just fishing MSKA, or you got a couple other ones you're dabbling in?
I fished MSKA this year. I was focused on, getting qualified for the national championship. I was focused on the Angler of the Year. So I pretty much, I stayed on track with it. I did do a couple state challenges through KBF and done fairly well. That's actually how I qualified for the national championship, was through a Pennsylvania state challenge. But I started it a month late, so there was no way I could go back and get enough points, to try for Angler of the Year or anything through KBF. So I kind of dropped out of it and just done MSK the rest of the year.
Right on. So I imagine next year KBF and MSKA is the plan?
Yes, absolutely.
Right on. Remember how I said if I ask you a question and the tendency is I end up answering one of them way ahead of time? I just one right there.
Yes.
So, with that said, man, what are you actually fishing out of? What kayak you got?
I actually have a Jackson Coosa HD.
Oh, right on. I have one of them. My buddy, I told my buddy, and he nicknamed her Cassandra.
Oh God!
And then he sold Cassandra, and it was a rather sad day. But
that's the one I started out in, and I've actually still got it.
It's a great rig, man. Great rig, especially for you guys who get to fish the rivers more often. Our rivers aren't quite like your guys' out there, but it's definitely a good river rig, for sure, absolutely. So with that, man, let's actually talk about your win, man. Where is Tigert Lake and River?
Tigert Lake and River is located in, I'm going to say, I wouldn't quite say the north central part of the state. It's a little bit to the east. It's actually located in Grafton, which is, hop, skip, and a jump from Morgantown from WVU.
Okay. For my guys out here in, or the guys aren't from West Virginia. He's talking about West Virginia. If you weren't,
okay, I'm sorry.
If you weren't aware, but it's all right. Lessons learned, right? So he's talking about West Virginia, and a hop, skip, and a jump, man, or stone's throw.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or stone's throw. So what kind of fisheries is Tigert Lake and the river? I know they're two different fisheries. Go ahead and tell everybody how that worked before we talk about what kind of fisheries you are. How did that work? You guys have one day for one and one day for other. How did that work? Can you break it down for us?
We actually have it's a 2-day championship, and it's split between the river and the lake. That way, a river fisherman don't have the advantage. Or the lake guy don't have the advantage. That way it's split between everybody. This year they actually done it where they put it in a number generator, and they tried to split the field. That way they wouldn't have all 87 people on the lake or all 87 people on the river, because the river was limited to the floats we could do. So they split it up. I'm going to roughly say, 40-some on the lake and 40-some on the river, and whoever fished the lake the first day fished the river the second, and vice versa.
Okay, cool. So you guys couldn't. So you had to. Right. You already answered that. I'm sorry. My wheels are turning. So what kind of fishery is the lake, and what kind of fishery is the river?
They are both top notch. I had actually never fished them until we actually went up and pre-fished Thursday and Friday, and I had some buddies, which was Jordan and Brad McClung and Brian, went up and pre-fished the river, found us a good spot on the river, so I had not even seen the river when we fished it Saturday. But we got on the lake Thursday, and the lake is actually drawn down this time of year. I don't know the exact numbers, but by looking at the bank and looking at the structure and stuff that's out of the water, you're probably looking at, I'm going to say, at least 25 feet that it's drawn down right now from what its normal level is.
Wow, that's a lot. Wow.
But it's normally a really deep lake, and I paddled across one spot and it being drawn down that far, and it was still 95 foot deep in one spot that we was in.
Wow. You guys.
But it's
you'd be blown away at how deep some of our lakes are, man.
Really?
Yeah, you can put a football field in some of them.
Wow. Now that's pretty deep lake for here.
Yeah, we're talking like hundreds of feet in some of our reservoirs up here, man. And you got to remember too. I realize this kind of not about you, but our reservoirs are so deep. I thought I'd give you 401, but anyways, our reservoirs are so deep. And when we were in a drought, they came down hundreds of feet. That's how bad we were desperate for water. They're turning, like McClure was only like at 6% of capacity, and that's 100. That's like I think that lake's like 250. I bet somewhere around there. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, I thought you might be interested to know that.
That's deep.
Yeah. Yeah. In the wintertime, drop shot. You can drop shot fish in like 100 foot of water.
Wow. I've caught them in about 40 foot on Erie, and if you hook a 16-inch smallmouth 40 foot of water, it feels like a shark.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's a lot of line, you know.
Really is.
What else we got here? So let's talk about one. The lake, you said it's a relatively deep lake. What kind of structure is there? Like wood, timber, rock? What's it known for?
The lake is a rock lake. I mean, you might have boulders the size of houses. But there's still some of them that are in the water, but for the most part, it's drawn down right now below all of that.
Oh, wow.
The fish that I found, the fish that I got on, was actually relating to nothing but a contour change. It wasn't that there was rock. It wasn't anything else. It was purely a drop-off. You know, I was sitting in, I'm going to say, 3 foot of water with my pole down, casting into 10 to 12 foot of water. And when I would pull my jig back up, when it would come over that drop in the 5 to 6 foot range was when I was getting my strikes.
Oh, so they're sitting right at the top of that ledge, huh?
Yep.
Right on. So how about the river, man? Is it a fast moving river? Is it pretty slow moving river?
No, the river actually, even the part we fished, there was no shoals. There was nothing like that. I wouldn't call it dead water, but it's not fast moving water. It's moving slow enough to where you could fish. You can do a whole float and never drop anchor.
Oh, wow.
But it's not moving so slow that it's dead. I mean, it's moving, but it moves you at the perfect pace, you know, if you want to fish or whatever.
Oh, right on. But out of curiosity, about how much water did you cover on the river anyways?
We actually, we had planned, you know, the start out was we was going to do, they had planned on us doing, I'm thinking it was 6 or 7 mile float. And like I said, the water, you know, the people was limited to what water they could float. We found out that there was going to be a bunch of people doing this float, and Jordan and Brad changed their mind at last minute, and we ended up doing a 2.5 mile float on the river was all we done.
Oh, right on. That's not too bad. It's a pretty good distance though. Let me see. What are the water temps, man? Between the two.
I honestly can't answer on the river because I didn't run a fish finder.
Okay.
But on the lake, when we got there Thursday on the lake, the water temperature that morning was in the 72 to 73 range. It was actually 80-some degrees out that day. When we got off the lake that evening, it had got up in the 75 or 76 degree range. We put in the water the next morning and went way up the lake, actually where the river was dumping in to where our cutoff was as far as we could fish.
Mm-hmm.
And the water had actually got up to 79 and 80 degrees on the upper end of the lake.
Wow, you guys are still running really warm out there.
You know, when we got on the water, I was really shocked. You know, Fish Finder was reading, I think, 64 when I got the kayak, you know, close to the water. Mm-hmm. Then I put it in the water, and it just keeps climbing. And I was like, I said, this water's warm for the fall.
Wow.
Kind of shocked me.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, for the most part, I don't think we're anywhere near any of that up over here in California. You know,
right.
I think the sunshine's out here, and all the sunshine that we have out here, we still be warm, but we still got I think we still have snow that was up in the mountains still trying to melt from the wet year we had.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
But yeah,
pretty crazy.
Water temperatures was way warmer than what I thought they would be for this time of year, especially even being up in the northern part of the state.
Right, yeah. That's actually really is surprising, man. No wonder you were able to catch the fish that you did the way we were talking about earlier.
Right.
I don't want to make you. You don't have to give it away yet. If you're even giving it away. Okay. So you said you were pretty much keying on that drop off. You said, right? How about on the river? What was the ticket on the river?
The ticket on the river was chunk rock.
Okay.
There, the float we done, I can't vouch for any other part of the river because, like I said, I didn't float anything else. But the part of the river we done had some deeper holes in it, but all of the bigger fish came in maybe 3 foot of water. Anywhere the water would, or the rock would roll up close to the top of the water. I mean, it could be in on the bank. It could have been out in the middle of the river. Anywhere you got that 3 foot depth was the key.
Oh, right on. I saw you had pictures of smallies. So, would you consider yourself a smallie specialist?
Yeah, I would rather fish for smallmouth than anything.
Okay, and on the lake, were you fishing for all smallies too, or is it a largemouth fishery?
Well, when we got there Thursday, we actually, on the way to the place we was going to, you know, we talked earlier, and I told you about catching the big muskie and stuff.
Right.
But we ran across several. I don't want to say they were schools, but we ran across several groups of largemouth that was in the 16 to 18 inch range, and to the best of my knowledge, you know, this lake was known for nothing but smallmouth. I would have never even thought that a largemouth could have come into play. But I think, and don't hold me to this, I didn't go through Tourney X and look at all the fish, but I do know that there was several limits of largemouth brought in.
Right on. It's always fun when they're mixed like that. We have very few smallies out here, but we have a couple. We have like, I don't know, like two at least from the top of my head, where there's a good population of both largemouth and smallies.
Right.
But granted, the damn spotted bass are starting to take over in a lot of those lakes.
That's a good thing.
They just take those spots, man. They take over everything. So, with that, what lures, what techniques were you catching them on? Don't necessarily share them all, but give us a little bit of juice, man. A little bit of juice.
The lake was jig or actually a finesse jig, and it was a finesse jig and a Ned bite.
Oh, Ned rig, huh?
It definitely was.
Is the wife over there shaking her head? He's so full of baloney.
No, she's telling the truth. It really was. We actually started out catching them on the Ned, and for whatever reason, I make my own jigs and all that through Prodigy Baits, but for whatever reason, I reached down and I grabbed one of the finesse jigs that I make, and I make it out of a Ned head, but I make it on a 2/0 hook.
Okay.
And I grabbed one of them, put a Ned on it, and throwed it out, and I think on the third cast, I caught a 17 3/4 inch smallmouth on it.
Nice.
And and you could throw it out, and you didn't want to bounce it or anything. It had to keep bottom contact the whole time. I mean, it was just a throw it out and drag it back up that drop off.
Oh, right on. You may have given me something to do out at one of our local fishing holes this winter. Put a skirt on a Ned rig.
Yep.
I like the idea. None of you Yakka Bass guys even think about copying that. Let's see. Oh, so that was on the lake. What was the deal on the river?
The river was even though, and I know they're probably listening, Chris and Brad. The key bite on the river, even though we caught limits on the Ned and we done really good. The kicker fish all come on the whopper plopper. The whopper plopper was the determining factor in it.
The thing catches fish everywhere.
And it catches big fish.
And it always catches big fish. You don't necessarily have to throw it all day, but when you do, it's kind of a feast or famine kind of thing, though. It
really is.
Yeah. I definitely have more confidence in that than throwing like a swim bait, but it can be the same kind of bite. Like you can throw it all day and not get bit, but then when you do,
when you do, it will pay off.
Absolutely. Let's see. We're using any particular gear or equipment that you say would play a role in your win? Good time to plug some sponsors here.
As far as rods, I pretty much stuck to G Loomis rods all weekend, and pretty much stuck to spinning equipment other than when I was throwing the plopper. And I only throw the plopper. I know Brian's a diehard too. The guy Brian McClung, the one angler of the year, he'll tell you the same thing. The plopper's got to be thrown on a crankbait rod. Fish it just like a crankbait.
Really?
I mean, I fish it on a 7-foot medium rod, moderate action. That way, when you hook up, you sink the tip of that rod in the water. If you can keep those fish from jumping, you have nothing to worry about on the plopper. But then on the Loomis rods, I think both of them are the 822. One of them's the drop shot, and one of them's the mag medium shaky head rod with Shimano Stratic reels.
Somebody's a Shimano fan, huh?
Oh yeah. And I run on my spinning combos. I run a 10-pound braid. Then I run about a 12-foot fluorocarbon leader.
Okay. I'm going to test you on this, seeing how you're a Loomis and Shimano guy. Are you throwing Power Pro?
Absolutely.
Look at you. Look at you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to send your info to a Shimano rep here. Get you on their team, man.
I sure am.
Yeah. Were you?
I actually only throw yellow too. Don't ask me why, but I do.
Ooh, look at you. Fancy. Yeah, now we've got to get you to promote a jackal lure, and you got the whole team right there.
I'm die hard on jackal crosstail shad when it comes to drop shot, and there ain't nothing allowed to do it.
Look at you go! Look at you go, prepping yourself for some sponsors down the road. All right, so let me scroll through here and see if we got any viewer questions. So if you got any, come on, share them. Get asking, don't be shy. Let's see. Yeah, we got quite a bit of comments in here tonight. So Brad McClung says, Dewey's the man. Congrats on an amazing weekend. Matthew Brace tuning in from SoCal. Hope the fishing's good up north. It's getting better. I guess we already kind of covered that at the beginning. Congratulations, Dewey Robinson. Amazing job this weekend, man. From Buddy Vance. Jeremy Miller says, at least it's not cold there. I don't know if he's talking about you or talking about me, but it's starting to cool off. I guess he's out in Idaho. So, how cold is it? What's your guys' air temps right now, Dewey?
This morning was actually the coldest day we've had, and it was in the 30s this morning.
Oh, nice! It's really cold up there.
It got up into the 60s today. I think it's supposed to be nice the rest of the week, up into the weekend, and then next week temperatures supposed to start dropping again and be in the 50s and 60s of the days.
Right on, man. It definitely got fall. Are you guys got the leaves changing colors and everything already?
Oh yeah, it's right in the prime time right now. It's right in the heat of the moment.
Taking lots of pictures.
Oh yeah.
So wife's got the house decorated for Halloween?
Oh no, not really, not yet. We're procrastinators.
That's all right. You guys have been focused on fishing. I forgive you.
We really have.
My wife's got it covered already. Branson Gore says, congrats, Dewey. Did good this weekend. We got to give a shout out to who else is signed on here. We got Andy Rao and Brandon Keene and Brandon Louie. And so I showed you log in. What's up, Abel and Clyde? Buddy Vance and Kevin Will and Jeremy Miller. Shane Williams, what's up? Mr. likes to say he's angry about everything I post. Sean Hyatt, what's up, Sean? What's up, Amos? Mike Ayers, Michael Lavoie, Adam Bombach, Chris Sobeski, Ty Jones, what's up, cuz? Let's see. Patrick Randolph says, Dewey, listen. he told me what that meant, so
they might. I done told you on that one. They're just picking on me just a little bit.
That's all right. That's half the fun of being on Kayak Bass Live. Your friends get to bust your balls.
Absolutely.
Hey, Carrie, your wife says, "Pump for you, babe. I'm so proud of you." Granted, she's sitting right next to you and can hear you or hear me talk. So, no, hey, Carrie, we're proud of you too. She took the Angler of the Year for the women this year in Mountain State Kayak Anglers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's definitely you guys got some sticks out there, so that's definitely not a small feat by any means. Jesse Stevens says, "Way to go, Dewey. This was a super tough lake, and you were able to do what a lot of us couldn't, and that find the fish." Buddy Vance, you the man, Dewey. What's up, Narciso? If you're still watching, Dewey's the man, says Aaron Finley or Finney. Let's see, Branson Gore, of course, buddy. What's up, James? What's up, Josh? Joshua Evans, Jackson for the win. Buddy Vance, Jackson Kayaks rock. Kerry Robinson, Jackson is the bomb. Can't wait to get the FD if all works out. Yeah, I hope you guys. I'm telling you guys, the pedal drive, it's the way to go. Granted, I'm not on a Jackson, but pedaling, yeah, when you're pedaling all day instead of paddling all day, because it means you get to fish all day too.
After fishing all day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we was feeling the burn.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go into work and you're gonna be moving all them boulders on your own, huh? Without a forklift.
It was a relief to get to fish the river Saturday. Let me tell you.
All you had to do was just do corrections, huh?
Yes.
Warren Parkin says, "Bonafide, baby." Well, we'll see. Joshua Evans, my FD is on the way. Warren Parkins, Hobie, Joshua Evans. I guess I really need to read all of everything that's being said. Let's see. I'm going to start skipping some. I don't want to be standing here forever reading comments. Buddy Vance, West Virginia Outdoors. Let's see. Joshua Evans ship episode coming soon. It's definitely a possibility, but I imagine it's probably more like February, maybe coming into March. We'll see. We'll get all of our. We have a conversation with a bunch of guys who're staying in a house together from all over the U.S. and they want the conversation's like, "Why don't you guys let's do a Kayak Bass Live with all the guys going to the house?" It's definitely a possibility. Let's see. Oh, David Dwight Wall says the river was 72 degrees. That's what he says.
Okay.
Buddy Vance says we flipped the kayak trailer finding fish. Oh wow, that's not good.
We did do that.
Yeah, what? What? How? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, now you got to tell us what happened. Okay, now we all want to know what happened. How'd you flip the kayak trailer?
Well, we've got a cutoff on the other end of the lake. You know, we got paddles. We don't have pedals, right. And you're looking at a good haul to the cutoff on the other end of the lake. We go on to Google Maps and we find this road that dumps off what looks to be maybe a quarter of a mile from the cutoff to where we want to go try. Well, we put it in. We follow this road. I guess we get what seems like about a mile from the lake, and the road turns into. I don't know if you'd still call it a road or not. I mean, it's something, you know, most people wouldn't even take a four-wheeler down or a side-by-side or something.
Wow.
I told him, I said, "Man, we're committed." I said, "We got to go now." He said, "Well, let's walk down it and check it out, see what it looks like, because it's pretty bad. Water's washed it out, big ruts, big holes." So we walked down through there about a half a mile, and we still haven't made it to the water. And I said, "We can do it." I said, I'm going to go back up and get the truck and trailer and bring it down. I go back up, and it's got my HD on it. It's got my wife's Coosa HD, and I have Buddy Vance's Jackson Mayfly on there on the top of it. And I'm pulling the trailer down through there, and I look back, and the trailer has flipped over on its side. And I get out, flip the trailer back over, and I go on down to Bud. Bud said, "What took you so long?" I said, we had a little bit of an accident. He said, "What happened?" I said, "I flipped the trailer over." He said, "Man, I don't think we should go any farther. We've got a log across the road. We've got ruts that's worse than the one I flipped the trailer in." And I told him, I said, "No, we can do it." And he said, "I don't think we should." And I convinced him in to let me do it anyways. And we pulled it on down through there, and he actually walked beside the trailer for probably over a quarter of a mile just trying to keep it from flipping over so we could get to the water.
Wow. That's diehard right there.
But yeah, we got down there.
Was it worth the trip?
No.
That's the $1 million question.
It
wasn't worth the effort, but it was worth the experience?
Yeah, it was.
The lesson learned?
It was worth not having to paddle so far, I'll say that.
Let's see. Buddy says, "Oh yeah, I was about to pass out." Let's see. What's up, Byron? If you're still watching, and Cody, and Chris Schaefer. Byron McClung says, "Prodigy Baits." What's up, Dewey? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I got guys telling me to shut up about the Ned rig secret.
Oh gosh.
Let's see. Carrie says Whopper Plopper. Brian McClung says never put it down. Plop Nation says Patrick Randolph. 90 is the best plopper. I actually disagree about the 90, man. I think the 110 and the 130 are where it's at. The 90 I don't know about anybody else, but I can't seem to get the stupid thing to want to stay on top. My line always wants to bring it down, and I have to keep my rod tip really high and work my rod tip down as it comes. I feel like I'm high sticking too much that if a fish hits it while it's on the end of the cast, I'm not going to be able to set the hook.
Are you throwing it on braid?
I've thrown it on braid. I've thrown it on mono too, and it doesn't want to. Maybe I'm throwing too heavy of a braid. I think I was throwing it on like a 50, maybe a 40. I don't remember. It wasn't too heavy of a braid, but still enough for me to be like, nah, this doesn't seem right. And I've talked to a couple other guys, and they said they've had the same kind of issue too, but I don't know. I imagine it would work if I could get it to work, but I can't seem to get it to work. That's just me. Let's see. Up. I closed it and then it messed up my how far along I was in here. Michael Lavoie, he asked a pretty good question. He says, "Do you ever throw the chug bug for smallies on the river?"
No, I have not.
Chug bug.
We used to.
That's a.
We used to do the jitterbug till the Whopper Plopper came out, and for around here, and Brian McClung, the one that's commenting and talking about the plopper, he's angler of the year because of the plopper. He has plopped all summer. I mean, he has flat wore the fish out.
I got a question for you. See, now you said you throw the jitterbug. Have you thrown the jackal pompadour?
I've not thrown the pompadour. I've got a friend that's got the pompadour and thrown it, and man, that thing is loud. I mean, it makes a ruckus.
Dude, that bait's this big around. It makes the splash and moves so much water. I can't even. Hold on, see if I can back up enough. It makes like this. It moves like this much water, dude. And that bait's only like this big.
Oh, yes.
It moves like this much water. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's
absolutely crazy. But anyways, I thought I'd ask. I'm kind of curious. See, now the Jackal and the Shimano and the Power Pro and the G Loomis, so I kind of throw it a little.
I've not. When I went to get a pompadour, you could not find one anywhere, and I kind of in off season, forgot about it.
Well, we have them at fishermanswarehouse.com. I'm pretty sure because I've seen that we just got a couple in last week sometime. I don't imagine they're moving right now. So let's see. Joshua having ship or get off the pot. Sorry, bro. A little too early for talking about the national championship still. Let's see. Looks like Abel, and we got 10 other people watching. 32. We're at 32 with 32 live people watching right now. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Patrick Randolph, I've thrown chugs on the elk. They work. Joshua Evans says Wu-Tang ship gang. Oh my gosh. Don't say that, Dewey. He'll get offended. I don't know what he's talking about. I must miss something. Excuse me. Gary Ford says Summer Plopper, love it. Good job, man. How many? 32 is what it says right now. So anyways, if you're just tuning in, remember to share the stream for opportunity to win a Fisherman's Warehouse gift card, which is good for our Manteca, Sacramento, San Jose location, or our website, fishermanswarehouse.com. Let's go ahead and move along here. We'll come back to viewer questions, so keep on asking if you got any. Imagine there was a whole bunch, but for whatever reason, I accidentally closed the window on my iPad, and then I lost the log of what was going on. So, yeah, keep on asking. So tonight's Easy Threesy, a new segment I'm going to try to do before, but now I'm actually going to try to make it an actual part of the show. Tonight's Easy Threesy is actually brought to you by Fisherman's Warehouse. Head over to fishermanswarehouse.com or one of the three locations in Northern California and grabs tonight's Easy Threesy baits or a variation of them to use on your next fishing excursion. So with that, man, what are your 3 baits you never leave home without? Make, model, color. What are your 3 baits, man? What is it?
You can't leave, other than if the water is just too cold. I don't go anywhere without a loon plopper. The black.
The black one, huh?
That's a lot of the guys I fish with love the bone, but I love throwing the black.
What size, man? What size you throwing?
In the 90.
In the 90?
Yep.
Wow. Have you thrown the 110?
Yeah, I've thrown the 110.
But you still like the 190?
I've thrown the 110, and I've caught fish on the 110, and I think that the fish that I catch on the 90 would probably hit the 110. But I don't know what it is. It seems like you catch a lot more fish on the 90. You're probably going to catch a lot better quality on the 110, but you'll catch more on the 90. Or that's just, around here.
So you'd rather play? So you're more one of the guys that'd rather play the numbers game rather than the game for the gamble for the big bite, huh?
Right.
Okay. Cool.
There's a lot of times in a lot of these tournaments when, if you can just get a decent limit and shoot for one kicker, you'll come out pretty good.
Right on. So the Whopper Plopper 90 and the loon. What is your
Whopper Plopper?
Okay.
I'm going to have to go with the Ned.
The Ned rig
as a second.
Okay. What color? What color and what weight?
I probably throw the black more than anything, and
this is
my favorite.
Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I was interrupting.
Straight black.
Okay.
Straight black. My favorite weight is I make several different weights in the Ned rig, but my favorite that I use more than anything would have to be a 330 seconds.
330 seconds. And are you throwing like an actual Z-Man plastic, or are you throwing some other type of plastic?
We make our own Ned rig Prodigy baits.
And do they float and stand up just like them?
Yeah.
So you have no salt.
Oh yeah, no, they don't have salt in them.
Yeah, because that's the key.
But they will stand up just like the Z-Man, and they're actually the ones that we pour is shaped like the carrot bait. It actually comes up and about 3/4 of the way up, and it slims down into like a real thin tail. If the water is just barely moving, no matter what, that tail, if it's sitting there by itself, it's always going to be moving in the water.
Oh, right on.
And then for the third bait, and I'm going to go with black again, and it would have to be a 4-inch Cinco.
4-inch Cinco. Wow, I like that. Are you okay? Now green pumpkin, or are you throwing black too?
It's black.
Man,
straight black.
You like the loon, you like the black Ned rig, and then you like a black Cinco.
I like black. I like green. I like green pumpkin, and the finesse jig that I was throwing on the lake was actually green pumpkin, but black for the more part. I throw black more than any other color.
Right on, man. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. if you're not throwing black, and you want to contrast the black, what color would you throw in contrast to black? Would you throw something white,
green.
Or would you throw? Okay, just green pumpkin, huh?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you said you throw the waffle plopper on a cranking rod.
Yep.
You talked about the your spinner rod for your Ned rig. What do you throw your 4-inch Cinco on?
I'll throw it actually on the like a mag medium.
Okay.
It's actually a shaky head rod is what it is, but it's a mag medium. It's still an 822 in the Loomis line, but it's actually it's a shaky head special is what it is.
Okay, cool. I know that rod. Okay, so with that, man, you talk about your 3 baits you wouldn't go anywhere out. What are your favorite techniques in the spring, summer, fall, winter?
Spring would have to be Cinco.
Okay.
A Cinco will shine in the spring when nothing else will. And summer through fall is going to, it's going to have to be the plopper.
Oh yeah.
Because they'll hit it on the river. I know lake's different. Lake's more morning and evening, but I'm getting a little bit closer. But on the rivers with the moving water and the cooler water on the rivers versus the lake, man, you can catch them from daylight till dark on the plopper on the river.
Wow, that sounds like a blast.
And then winter would be a jig.
In wintertime. So you throw the waffle plopper from summer through fall, huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I caught my first whopper plopper fish this year at the end of April at our very first tournament, the KBF and MSKA Stonewall Jackson tournament on the lake.
Oh wow. Right on. Oh, I got a certain notification. Okay. What else we got here? It's a good question from Michael Lavoie, and he's gonna get credit for this, but I'm gonna steal it pretty much from here on out. Are there any lure bait or lure modifications that you feel like you always have to do? That's like what are your go-to lure mods?
Probably the most that we do would maybe be change hooks out on the ploppers or something to that nature. But I mean, I hate to keep bringing it up, but like when it comes to a plastic or something, rather than make an altercation to it, I'll just have her, if I want a certain color glitter in something or if I want this and that, I'll just have her make it rather than actually try to change something up by.
Right on. Okay. So pretty much your most common mods are regarding treble hooks on reaction baits, huh?
Right.
Okay, cool. Fair enough. And then if you had 3 pieces of advice, what would you, for any angler, what would they be?
Always fish till the last. If you're fishing in a tournament, always fish till the bitter end. I mean, don't never give up. And Bud Vance is a testament to that this weekend. He fished. I think he caught his last big fish with 15 minutes to go. Put him somewhere in the 48, 49-inch range and got him a top 10 finish in the tournament. And we had been loaded on the trailer and left. Our water got washed out that we was fishing. The wind was blowing, I think, 13, 14 mile an hour, beating the banks. The mud line kept slowly working its way out to where it had covered that 10, 12-foot mark out on the water. I mean, it was just stained up so bad there was nothing there to fish anymore. But yeah, I'm going to say, you've got to fish to the last minute. And one of the worst things that we're all guilty of, especially fishing these tournaments, these kayak tournaments, if it's running through Tourney X, and I'm one of the worst, and my wife is really bad for it, and I'm trying to get her broke of it, is if you stay on Tourney X and you try to watch what everyone else is doing, you're just going to get frustrated and you're going to start fishing too fast. That's the worst thing you can do, is worry about what everybody else is doing. Really? You need to fish and try to catch your fish, not worry about the rest of them, which I'm guilty of it. She's guilty of it.
Yeah, I know I've been guilty of that too. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean when you don't have a fish in the kayak yet, and you see so and so down here's got 45 inches, you're like, oh, they're doing something I'm not. I'm gonna have to change up. When you may just not be on the fish yet, or the fish in that area may not have turned on.
True.
And
you got one more piece of advice?
More times than not, I know there's reaction baits and there's this and that, but finesse will always produce bites. At some point in time, finesse baits will always produce a bite on a lake or a river.
That's a solid piece of advice. Yeah, most definitely. See how I like this throw a Cinco. If you can't get bit, man, throw a Cinco. You'll get bit. May not be
exactly.
may not necessarily be a keeper, but you'll get bit. It'll put a little more confidence in you, light a little fire, get you going again at the very least. I know I've done that in the past before. Right on. Okay, so kind of closing up here. We've got a couple. There's like 3 more questions for you before we let you go. We're running right close to about an hour. What other events do you plan on fish this year? Or is this pretty much it? You're done till next year?
This pretty much sums it up. This pretty much does it up till the national championship. Everything from here till then will be pretty much planning out, figuring out what we're going to do, where we're going to go.
Right on. You gonna take like a large stretch of work off and go out there to Kentucky?
As of right now, I'm at least going to take 3 days off to pre-fish, at least. Which there's a big group of us went in, and we've got a cabin for the week, from the weekend before till the tournament weekend. I would like to get to go down and spend the whole week. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I would like to.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how all of us California boys are going to make the 3 days of driving and still manage to squeeze in some pre-fishing, man. But
wow,
we're going to manage. We're going to get it done. You watch. Let's see. Got any sponsors you want to thank or plug?
I wouldn't say that I technically have any sponsors, but I would, like to give a shout out to West Virginia Outdoors. That's where my kayak came from. We buy a lot of tackle from them and all that. Jackson Kayak, Bass Mafia. I wouldn't have any other boxes. Bass Mafia is top notch. You can't beat them. Shimano, G Loomis. If it wasn't for them, I just feel like my fishing would be not what it is, as far as feeling bites and all that. And of course, Prodigy Baits. Of course, I got to brag on our own stuff. I guess I technically sponsor myself if you want to get technical about it. And Bend and Branches Paddles. But that pretty much sums all that up.
Right on. With that, man, where can everybody follow you if they want to know what's going on in the world of Dewey Robinson? You can check me out on Facebook. Just look me up, Dewey Robinson. I have Instagram. I'm not going to lie. I neglected it. I've been so busy and I've went through so many phones this summer. Half the guys on here watching probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I've went through so many phones. I've even forgot to put Instagram back on some of them, and I've neglected it. But I'm going to do better on that. Yeah, Dewey is telling me he's lost a total of, I think, 3 phones now over the summer.
Yeah.
And
yep.
Damn. Poor guy. You're gonna have to.
Yeah, they've canceled the insurance. They won't let me have insurance on them for a year now.
I saw that. I saw the picture of you holding that. I used that picture of you holding that Smalley, and you had your phone in the cup holder. And I'm like, oh, that just looks like trouble. And imagine it fell out of that cup holder.
I did. The first one I lost out of that cup holder. I lost it out of that Yak Attack cup holder. We was on the Kanawha River, and I had it sitting up to where I could text on it. And my wife, we was texting back and forth, and I went to paddle, and when I come down with the paddle, it clipped the phone, and over it went.
Man, oh, criminy. Whew.
Yeah, it was bad times, and I never usually submit my fish. I always hold out. I'm one of those guys that I don't like submit until Tourney X goes offline. That way, nobody knows what I had. And for whatever reason, that day I submitted my fish, because if I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have had anything, and I actually come in 4th place in that tournament.
Whew, man. Quick question for Kerry. When you were texting him and he dumped the phone, were you starting to freak out something happened because you couldn't get hold of him?
No, we were actually finished texting, and I guess he just didn't put it back. I'm not real sure why he didn't put it back, but
yeah, I would have went into panic mode if I was texting my wife and found out she dumped it in the water or something. Because I wouldn't be able to get hold of her. It might freak me out.
If I hadn't had a good day fishing, I would have probably been in a real ill mood. But I had a good day, and I told her, I said, look, I said, I'm not going to worry about it. I said, I got my fish caught. I said, I got them submitted. We're just going to make the best of it. We're going to pull out. We're going to go try another spot and see how it goes.
Right on. Let's see if I can scroll through all these comments and questions here. Let's see. Not a whole lot has rolled through, but we're going to go through them anyways real quick. Oh, let's see. Mark Edwards says MSKA rocks. Well, yeah, it does. You guys got a really big following out there in West Virginia.
Yeah, there's somebody we can give a shout out to. I'd like to, Ben, Chris, Brad, Jeremy, Dwight, Nathan Finney. I mean, all those guys. Listen, I mean, they run a top-notch show. Not one time this year have they been off schedule. They set schedules before, and it's amazing to be able to control that many people. It's top notch, and I'd like to go back and let me do this, but and then I'll let you have it. If it wasn't for Jordan and Brad doing what they done for us on the river, we would have never floated where we floated, and I wouldn't have caught the fish I caught on the river. And Bud Vance for pre-fishing with me, and Patrick and Brian McClung and Aaron Finney, man, all those guys have just pushed us all year and helped us every way they could.
Jordan Ross says Aaron Finney caught about a 21 and a quarter largemouth on the plopper.
He did.
Is that during the tournament?
That was pre-fishing. That was the day before the tournament.
He won pre-fish.
Which now he won big fish in one tournament. Aaron did, and I want to say it was 19 and a half or 19 3/4 inch smallmouth, and it came on the plopper.
Right on, man. That whopper plopper just gets it done coast to coast. Let's see. Michael Lavoie, he must be asking you to elaborate on guessing the whopper plopper. He says, do you use it almost as a search bait?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can find. I mean, it's almost. I know it's totally different, but you can almost fish it like a crankbait. If there's active fish, and even of the summertime, you can take that thing and you can throw it out over open water on the river. It doesn't have to be shallow water, and those fish will come up and get it.
Yeah, I mean, if they can, they'll come out of nowhere. I mean,
they will. There's been many a time. Our river here where we live isn't real wide here on the Guyandotte, and you can cast pretty much from side to side. And there's been many a time I've thrown it to the other bank, and get it halfway back to me and go to burn it up just to get it back, and one crush it right in the middle of the river somewhere you would never think that you're going to get a bite.
That's always exciting.
Yes.
Especially when it's unexpected, Let's see. Warren Parkin says, don't forget the Black Prodigy Senko. What's up, Jesse? How's it going, man? Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you're still watching. Michael Lavoie, he says black. Question is he's asking, do you fish a lot of dirty water? Is that why you're throwing black?
No, I believe it or not, I throw black in crystal clear water. The water on Tiger is super clear. I mean, there's spots you can probably see down 20 feet or better.
Wow, that really is clear.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No, I do. I throw black. I mean, it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Even on the New River when it's super clear, we had our New River tournament. That's what me and her killed them on the New River was black.
Patrick Randolph says 130 average. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to, man.
He's probably talking about how many people per tournament.
Oh yeah. You guys definitely had a lot of high numbers. I think I've interviewed multiple guys from MSKA in the spring. What's up, Matt? How's it going, man? Let's see. Warren Parkins says, shout out to Chris Schaefer. He works hard at MSKA. And Carrie says MSK is the best. Love the events and all the friends that we've made through the club. Buddy Vance, great job, MSKA, top notch as always. And then Patrick Randolph. Oh yeah, MSK. Okay, so you elaborated on what I meant by the 130. With that, man, I want to remind everybody to share this evening for a chance to win a Fisherman's Warehouse gift card, which is good for all three of our stores in Manteca, San Jose, and Sacramento, California, as well as our website, fishermanswarehouse.com. So no matter where you are, you'll still be able to use it. We ship all across the nation almost all the time. Free shipping on any order over $50. So go ahead and share that with the opportunity to win, and we will get that. Do the drawing for that next week on here on Kayak Bass Live. So be sure to come back and tune in to see if you won, because I'm not going to tag you. I won't say I won't. I possibly will, but or somebody else will. So tune in so you can see if you won. We want you to come back. That's why we do the drawing next week. So you guys come back and watch next week, so that way you can keep the crowd growing. So thank you, Dewey, for coming on. Congratulations on the win. Thank you to MSKA for letting us steal him, and thank you, Carrie, for letting us steal him. And it is late. He's got to go to work tomorrow. Work 12 hours. By golly gee, do you work like three 12s? Do you work 5? How many 12s do you work in a week?
5.
Damn, son. Power to you. You are man. I complain about having to work the 4 days I got to work a week. But anyways, congratulations to you, man. Thank you for coming on here. Somebody was saying that we should have McClung come on next week. That's definitely a possibility, Brian. If you're watching, maybe we can have you come on next week and talk for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
So with that, man, congratulations, and we're going to let you go. Stick around. Just stay. Don't hang up. We'll talk for a little bit. But thank you for tuning in, everybody. Remember to share for a chance to win a gift card. And we will see you next week on Kayak Bass Live. So with that, love, peace, and chicken grease.